Well, I've got my one of our grandsons, Evan, and his buddy Anthony doing more work for me. They're tearing out the floor in the shed. They got really messed up by the flood, and I'm giving them a lot of lumber that they have a use for. Anyway, they'll stay busy for a little while longer, and while they're doing that, Evan's girlfriend is back with us. You all remember Alyssa, you know, our automotive technician. Now, you've been working now as a automotive repairman technician at a local car dealer. How long now?
A month.
A month. How's it going?
Awesome.
Awesome?
Yeah.
I mean, they're real happy with you, and you're real happy with them?
Yeah.
Well, that's fantastic. I'm glad to hear that. Are you making big duckies?
Yeah.
A lot of big duckies?
Yeah.
All right, let's go back to the beginning. Something she told me about after the first interview that we had that I put up on YouTube. I failed to ask her how she wound up at that dealership getting a job there. You know, she went to school. I figured that the school, the dealership had just gone to the school where she graduated from and tried to recruit these guys. Do they do that up here? Do they recruit any of those people?
They do. Like, my teacher goes to high school and talks to kids, but as far as like dealerships going and trying to recruit kids, no. They're in a partnership where like our service manager will say, hey, I need a tech, or I need a lube tech, or I need this, but it's not,
okay, so there's not a big drive to recruit people like that.
Right.
Okay, now, let's go back to the beginning, which really fascinated me. The way I understand it is you went into this dealership one day to have your car greased and lubed or something like that, oil changed or whatever, and that's where this all started, is that right?
Yeah.
So, what, you were just like sitting there and you got this brilliant idea to go up and talk to the service manager?
Yeah.
And you said, what did you say to the service manager?
I asked him if I could shadow the techs because that's what I wanted to do.
You told him, now you were in school at this time, right? And you told the service manager at that dealership that you wanted to shadow his automotive techs. In other words, you wanted to just hang around them, watch them, be on their heels.
Yep.
For a period of time because you were going to school. And so where'd you get this idea? This was like just yours, right?
Yeah, I don't know.
No one ever told you about it? You just it just all came into your head, right?
Yeah.
You see, guys, I always hear complaints about people always saying, well, there's no jobs out there, there's no way to get jobs. There's jobs out there, aren't there?
Yeah, it took me 3 years to get it.
That's okay, but you trained yourself and made yourself employable, didn't you? Yeah, and it took a little effort on your part, didn't it?
Yeah, I was there pretty much every day for at least 2-3 hours.
2-3 hours every day at the dealership, and so essentially when you graduated, you had a job, right?
Yep.
That was the coolest thing.
Yep.
I've never heard anybody do that. I'll tell you the truth, I never would have thought about it myself. That was a brilliant idea on your part. I just can't get over that.
Yeah, because it was only like 2 weeks after I graduated, and he messaged me and said, hey, you want a job? And I was like, yeah! So, it worked out in my favor.
And he likes you, and everything's kind of hunky-dory now. And so they sort of accept you there. Being a lady, look, this may be 2017, but there's still, it's like there's still this image of women. But they I guess for having shadowed these techs over a period of time, they kind of knew you anyway, and they understood.
Like father figures to me. So.
Are they still father figures to you?
Oh yeah. We're friends, but like I can go and talk to him about anything.
Well, let me ask you this. I got to ask you this. I'm sure there's some guys out there that would like to know this. Because you're a woman, are they cutting you any slack?
Oh no.
So that what
I get it even worse.
You get it even worse.
Yeah.
So you're not like, oh, I can't do that. Can you help me with this? Can you do this for me? So in other words, they give you a job, you do it, end of story. If you don't do it, you're in trouble, right?
Yeah.
All right, that's what I want to hear. Well, that's great. Now we're going to come back in about, I don't know, we'll come back in about 6 months to let everybody know how you're doing. How's that?
Sounds good to me.
Okay, now your hours are what, 40 hours a week?
45.
45 hours?
Yeah, I work 8 to 6, Monday through Friday.
Well, that's fantastic. So you're really hauling in them duckies I talked about, right? All right, congratulations.
Thank you.
Well, we're getting a hole cut in the wall to put the old air conditioner. I think before it's over, we're going to have to cut all the way down and probably take out this wood right here. We'll have to put some support 2x4s in there to hold it up, even though it's not really that heavy. And Try to cut as much through as you can, then we'll go ahead and rip it out. This is it. This is the Frigidaire I was telling you about. It is a remote control. It has 8,000 BTU on the cool and 7,000 on the heat. We're going to stick it in the hole. I've already built the shelf out here. Let me show you the shelf. Here's how we're handling the shelf with just, 3 large shelf brackets. Nice and solid. Shouldn't be any problem. This is perfectly level. So let's get it in there and see what happens. Well, there we go. It is blowing nice cool air. Ooh, man, I'll tell you, you cannot beat these. We had this at work for several years, I've already told you, and it never even so much as burped, this refrigerator heat pump. Frigidaire heat pump. Really, really good. So we're going to let it run for a while. Later on, I'll go ahead and board up, put a border all the way around it. And it's already doing a really good job. We'll crank it down and let her sit for a while, then we'll come back. I don't know if that's blowing a lot of wind on the camera or not, but take a look at how level that is. This thing has to be level. I went ahead and used a bunch of scrap lumber to frame it in. Nice and tight, airtight, not a problem. Perfectly level this way, perfectly level that way. And I went ahead and moved this wire connector, the outlet. It was in the center. I just kind of moved it around, re-put it back on the wall. The power cord was very long, which I really appreciated actually. I just drilled a hole through one of those plastic things and raised the whole thing up out of the way, taking the load off of this, and I got it suspended with a screw into the wall. That's all I need to do. That's it, guys. And it is really cooling down in our shop. Oh, wonderful, huh, Joseph?
It really is compared to how it's been all day.
Yeah, but I do have to do one thing. I've got to get some drapes on this window right away, because in the afternoon the sun comes blaring through that window and it just heats up. It was heating up real bad here, even with the air conditioner running. So I've got the drapes ready to go. Our daughter Shannon, she hemmed them up for me the other day. I cut them off, she hemmed them up. All we got to do is put them back on. Hopefully I can get that done tomorrow. Well, it's the next day, and I left the air conditioner running all night long. And I set it low speed on the fan. I put it in the economy mode and set it to 72 degrees, and it is nice and comfortable in here the next morning. Of course, outside is pretty cool, and but it's nice. Oh, so much better than it used to be, and seems to be holding up well. Not a problem. Let's go around the outside and see what we have, see if there's much water inside the shop. The primary concern I'm having is, do we have any water dripping out the back running inside the shop? Inside the garage rather, on the floor. We don't want that. Well, there's nary a drop. How about that? That's why you have to have these air conditioners perfectly level this way and perfectly level that way. I discussed this with Brendan, my electronics mentor. He's also an air conditioning guy, electrician guy, you name it. That's Brendan. But he told me exactly how to do it, so we took a lot of pains in making sure that happened. Now, if it stays like this, I'll be a happy camper. Well, I still have everything piled on top of these 2 tables here. So today we're going to move everything through the doors out into the garage. We're going to clean the floor really good, sweep down the walls. I have some cobweb kind of stuff that's formed here, and the sawdust is collected on it. I don't know if you can notice that or not, but I got quite a bit of that stuff everywhere. We'll get that all swept down, clean it up, vacuum it all, mop this floor 2 or 3 times, and I hope to get at least 2 coats of sealer on the floor. Once we do that, we're ready for our next project. A little side note, poor old Rusty had to go to the vet. He got real sick the day before yesterday, which was Sunday, and there's nothing we could do about it. He just kind of laid around. He crawled underneath the deck. He laid in the dirt. He wouldn't move. He wouldn't eat. He would drink some water, and every time he drank it, he'd just blow it out, just blow it right out within 5 minutes after he took it. So we took him to the vet the next morning, real early, and they said that he's suffering from pancreatitis. Poor little thing. So they've had him in. He'll be in the vet, their little hospital there he spent all day yesterday there. He's going to spend all day today here, and they're going to give us periodic updates on how he's doing. And hopefully he'll pull through this, but he was a very, very sick little dog. I have a request from one of our subscribers. I can't remember who it was who sent me the recipe for making Polish pickles. I can't find it. When I had to put in a new hard drive here a little while ago, unfortunately we lost all that. And I've tried, I've gone through my YouTube videos and I cannot find the person who gave it to me. Now you're out there, yeah, post a link on this video in the comment section if you would. I'd really appreciate it. Well, we're finishing things up in the old shop. Yeah, before I put the sealer on, I had to mop the floor, and it recommended on the sealer that it be mopped 3 times, and this is the 3rd time, and I've gone underneath the baseboard with a little brush and, you know, got all the dirt out best I could. And this is our 3rd mopping, and I'll tell you what, after the 2nd mop, you know, you mop it real good the first time, you figure, yeah, I got most of it. Then you mop it the 2nd time, and the water's just as dirty. So of course, there was a lot of mud on this floor from that flood, so probably mud I still haven't even got up. I can't even see. I mean, I'm really mopping it really good. Now the sealer I'm going to be using on this, well, actually it's a garage floor, is this stuff I just picked up at Lowe's, I think it was. I didn't pay much attention. It said it's for concrete. It's a sealer. That's what I'm going to use. And then I got this other stuff, I guess is made by the same company. It's called Clean and Etch. Now you have to etch the floor before you put down the sealer. This is a very smooth surface, okay? And in order for this stuff to adhere, you've got to have something a little better than basically glass. I mean, that is really smooth. So that's where this stuff comes in. First thing we're going to do is mop the floor and make it wet. Then we're going to mix this 50-50 in a gallon of water. 50% water, 50% clean and etch. And then we're going to spray it on using a pump-up sprayer. Well, this is basically eyeballing it. I filled it up to there in the pump-up sprayer with water. The gallon is up about right here. So I'll just go ahead and pour it in there until I think I got it about right. This is a real bad design on this jar, by the way. The screw cap is too close to the handle, and the handle should be actually on the back, not the top. Dumb. Apparently these guys never use this stuff. The sprayer's all pumped up, ready to go. I gave the floor one last sweeping, because you want to have it as clean as possible. Now we'll go ahead and take the mop, and we'll, you know, slosh some water around on it. You don't want it to be, you know, sloppy wet, but you want it to have enough water that it doesn't evaporate in a matter of seconds. And then while the floor is wet, that's when you spray with your etching compound. So let's get the floor wet. Now it's supposed to foam up and turn into a white foam. Now whether it does or not is beyond me. Maybe that only happens after you scrub it or something. I don't know. We'll find out. But I wanted to make sure this thing was sealed. So I'm going to do this to the whole floor, and I'll come back after I've had a chance to scrub it a little bit. You don't want any, you want it to be really dull when you're done. If you see any shiny spots, that means it didn't etch very well. Alright, you're supposed to scrub it in, which I have just now about completed. But I don't see any foaming action. I see some kind of a buildup on the surface, so I don't know, maybe I'm expecting too much. It should have been, to me, there should have been a white foamy kind of reaction between the liquid etching compound and the lime, I believe it is, that's in the concrete. Anyway, we'll let it set for about 15 minutes, and then we'll mop it off and do the rest of it, and then let her dry and see what happens. The whole idea here is just like when you use navel jelly, you want to keep it wet. You know, I went back over, I keep spraying with the sprayer wherever I see a dry spot appearing. Give it a good, give it a good spray on both sides of the room. This is the one we did first. So we're coming up on about 10 minutes since we did that one. This one's been scrubbed with a brush, and you know, we're probably about 13 minutes. We got more to wait on this. Wait about 15 minutes, I think it is. I better check the bottle just to make sure. Well, it really didn't say. All it said was scrub it until the foaming action stops. And of course, we didn't get a whole lot of foaming action here. Well, that's it, folks. It is all etched. Now I'm just gonna, I just turned on the old AC. We're just gonna let it completely dry the room. I'm gonna go in and relax for a while. Shave my face. I haven't shaved today. Have me an iced tea maybe. Then when we come back out later, I'm gonna give it plenty of time to dry. Come back out later, I'll give it one last sweeping, and maybe I'll seal it tonight. Maybe I'll wait till the morning. I don't know. It depends on what it looks like when I come back. Well, she looks pretty clean, pretty etched. What we're looking for is anything that's shiny. We don't want anything shiny. As you can see, it's all dull. That's what we were looking for. Nice and dull. I don't know what the discoloration differences are. Don't care. It's not shiny. It's all dull. Let's look over here. Nothing over here. Well, right now I'm getting ready to clean the old Blackstone griddle from yesterday's cookout we had on 4th of July. Give it a little more time to even dry out more. Then I'll come in and put the sealer on. I'll give it a good sweeping, then we'll put the sealer on. Nothing shiny. I'm a happy camper. It is time to clean the old Blackstone. The cooking's over with. You spray your old water in there like that. After it heats up, you gotta clean it off best you can first, you know. Then you take a wet rag and then you do this number to it and get in the corners as much as you can. Now the rag will probably get hot a little bit. I do have the fire going, all 4 burners, and as you can see, it does burn. But you need that steam to kind of clean it. And that really does the trick. You'll go through a lot of rags cleaning this thing over the years. That's the way she goes. That's about it, really. Now I'll take the rag after it cools down and wipe along the outside edge all the way around. Maybe clean up the front if it needs a little bit wiped off, and that's about it. That's all it takes. Alright, she's cooled down quite a bit. Just before putting the cover on, I take a little bit of Crisco in the can, just a regular old can of Crisco. I think it's Crisco. Yeah, regular old can of Crisco. Take a paper towel, dip it down in there, and smear a light coat of Crisco all over it while the grill's just slightly warm. It'll absorb it right down in there, and that helps with the seasoning, to build on the seasoning the next time you start it up, and it also protects it until the next time you start it up. The last thing you do is give it another light wipe down with a clean dry rag. Don't press hard, just enough. Make sure you get along the outside edges, the edges of this thing, very important. Keep it nice. After you clean it, you want to preserve it. This is the best grill I think I've ever had. And if it had not been for a Junk Collector, one of our good subscribers, I never would have known about this thing. He's the one that turned me on to it, and I haven't cooked on a stupid little barbecue grill ever since. Forget that stuff. The Blackstone griddle, not the 2-burner one. Got to be the 4-burner. The 2-burner sucks. That's what everybody says. I took their word for it and went with the 4-burner. Glad I did. Well, we're at the vet's. This is the 3rd day old Rusty has been here, and he's been on an IV in his little paw. He's just really lethargic right now. They've got him doped up. They're checking him for a blockage. They're running some of that barium or beryllium or some silly thing through him. I don't know if he has a blockage. They'll go ahead and remove it, and he should be back to normal. But right now, he's just laying there. He's like a lump. He seems to be, of course he is drugged up for the pain. He does have the pancreatitis kind of situation, but that's what's going on with Rusty right now. We're going to let him spend the night again. They're going to x-ray him in the morning and hope that stuff that they put in him works its way all the way through. The doc said if there's still some in his stomach and it hasn't worked its way all the way through and it's still in his stomach, that could mean a blockage. They'll have to check it out and maybe operate on him or something. Poor little baby, he's just laying there. He's just, oh, I'm just so tired. I want to feel better. Yes, I do. That's what the sealer looks like, and according to the instructions on the can, you're not supposed to shake it, you're just supposed to stir it around with a stick of some kind, and guess what? That's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to stir it around. And as soon as I get it stirred to my satisfaction, I'm going to take this old cheapo brush. Now this is water-based. It washes off with soap and water. Kind of cool, huh? Anyway, we're going to take this old brush, we're going to go all the way around the baseboards first, up underneath. What they call cutting in. Once I get it cut in all the way around the room, we'll come back and grab the roller and go to town. Well, she's cutting in pretty easy. I also spilled a little bit on the floor, but the best part of it is, no problem, just swish it around with the brush, you know. They say that it only needs one coat, and it's probably true. This, I was originally going to go with stick-on tiles, if those of you have been keeping up with this series. I was going to cover the entire floor with stick-on tile, but now that we had the flood, bad idea. If I'd have gone and put those tiles down, they'd all be peeling up by now. So we're just going to seal it real good. We're going to use rubber mats. A rubber mat. I'm only going to have like one large rubber mat cover this whole area, because right here is where the workbench is going to be, right below this window in that power strip. And our rubber mat will be right here. So let me go ahead and get the rest of it done. Well, we're all cut in all the way around the room, ready to put the roller to it. But I want you to know there's a couple of things about this Clear Seal Sealcrete stuff that I like. It's water-based, so you can just wash your brush out, wash your hands off or whatever. And it doesn't have any odor at all. Nothing. This is great. Almost looks like a bucket of milk, huh? Well, let me get the roller set up here and start rolling. Now when I start rolling this stuff on the floor, I don't plan to spare any of this stuff. It's going to get a nice heavy coat and make sure it's taken care of. I don't want any problems at a later date. I don't know why that thing's not turning on. There we go, finally. Anyway, we're not gonna spare the horses. You know what I'm saying? Well, that's it. That's it. I have rolled myself out the door, and I'm going to close it. It says let it sit for an hour. We will let it sit for an hour while I have a cup of coffee. That's it. She's all done, all sealed. The last time I spoke to you, or the last Mish-Mash video, or the one before that, I can't remember which, I said that the next time you see this shop, it would be finished. Well, guess what? It is finished, finally. Now later on, we'll put up our shelves on an as-needed basis. I don't even know where I'm going to put them right now. But we're going to get our workbench in. We're going to get at least one table off to the right-hand side here. And we're going to kind of put up some drapes on this window here. You know, I'm going to maybe put a couple of drapes here. I don't know. But as far as the shop goes, as far as being built, it is complete. Oh, what a job this was, huh? It took forever. Thought it would never happen. Anyway, right now I have to contact Brendan and see what he wants to do about our next project. I told you once the shop was completed and everything, and we would present to you our next restoration project. Until next time, this is John.